Why, hello there, Nice here, joining you from a slightly different angle than normal. Start trying something out, a little bit higher and stuff like that. What hasn't changed, however, is the fact that I'm grateful for you tuning in and that I hope you have a good day. In fact, I'd prefer if you were already having a good day and this didn't make it worse, but if you're not, hopefully it gets better from here. This is a summary of a knife I've done a full review on. The full review will be linked down in the description. The summary is, of course, a shorter, more approachable sort of rehashing of everything, and also a slight update after continuous use, or more continued use, as, well, I'm doing this at a later date than the review, obviously. It's a separate video. Can't be done at the exact same time. What is this? This is the Penrose Otarida. This is the first model from Penrose knives. They've got the Stasis, which is more of a slightly budget-oriented knife. It's actually over here in the pile for getting its own summary coming up. And also I've noticed that there's going to be a V2 Stasis, which I think it's a top liner lock, and I'm quite interested in that. I think this model I like more than this one. And so I'm more interested in it getting a V2. I hope the Stasis sold... obviously, the Stasis sold well. They're doing a V2. And there's a third model, the Privateer, that's going to be coming out, I think, sometime in the fall, which I am absolutely going to be getting my hands on, because I've gotten all three of their models so far, and they're all really good. Well, two of their models so far, and they're both really good. I do think the Stasis is more my jam as far as design language goes, but this is a good knife. I'll give it away. This is a good knife. The Otarida here is a good knife. I don't think there's any more available. I don't know if they're going to be doing any more runs of them. But either way, keep an eye on the Penrose brand. That is their logo right there, the Penrose triangle. The impossible object, as it is called. It's because it sort of folds in on itself in like an almost three-dimensional way, but in an impossible way, sort of multi-dimensional kind of object. You can look it up if you want to know. So, the Otarida. Just a quick rehash of what we got. We got M390, stonewashed, very good edge, pretty fine, nice and thin. The actual blade length on this, let's just double check, is just 3 1/8, just over, about 7.5 overall. Not a particularly huge knife. The Stasis is, I think, slightly larger. I'm kind of hoping the Privateer comes out and is even larger. I want to see something like 3.6 inches of blade on that one, because that just looks a little bit cool. Unless they're going for this sort of slightly smaller aesthetic. To each their own, but we get a lot of those. I want to see something big. I like seeing big knives. I like big knives. Okay, there we go. They don't have to be giant, heavy-duty, hard-use bricks, but I like larger blades. However, that has not exactly stopped me from liking this knife. Sharp control and plunge grind is great. The stop pin is way up in here on both the flipper and non-flipper variants. So you can get in there. You'll never have an issue with that. And I mean, it stops way up here, so you're going to have a metric ton of life on this thing even before you have to do anything. The jimping, fantastic. It's not the super thin wire jimping, but this is one of the executions that's really, really grippy, and it really feels good. It almost feels, if you're really going to like skate into it, it could possibly be too aggressive, but it definitely holds you, and I like it personally. Actuation, of course, I suppose I should pull out the non-flipper for that. You've got the flipper, the whole aperture, and the flipper tab. I definitely gravitate to the whole aperture, but the flipper tab, despite being actually not that high in relation to the pivot, and not like overly pronounced, more than enough leverage. It feels quite good. The detent on these both feel very good. This one has a slightly lighter detent than this one does. I think I like the slightly heavier detent personally, but they're pretty darn close. And they feel very similar. The bearings, overall, except for one thing, these knives feel almost identical. Right down to, even if the detent is slightly different, the sound and feel of the click into the detent hole is very, very similar. So, D10 strength and one other thing, I guess, are the only real differences I've noticed between these two, which is pretty good consistency, honestly. Like, the execution is quite good. Kubi. Kubi did this for as an OEM for Penrose. Titanium handles. Titanium frame lock, in fact. Sort of a ripple radial pattern milling. Very nice. Very nice to interface with. Let's see, can you hear this? Yeah, it's deep, but it's not uncomfortable in any way. It's not sharp in any way. And it meets the chamfers really nicely. Like, sometimes you get like a hard edge or something poking out on the chamfers when you have a texture meeting the chamfers. Not here. Very, very comfortable. Just a nice texture. Very, very... Honestly, what had me on this one when I first got it was this texture. It's something that it feels like you want to just pick up and go with, right? So good job on there. Kubi and Penrose for the design. Obviously, the flipper tab is nice. I gravitate towards the non-flipper purely because it's out of the way and it allows me more freedom of where I'm gripping and everything like that. But to each their own there. Also to each their own. The branding on the blade, as you can see, is pretty much sterile. Some people like seeing logos. I do not. I've said it a billion times. I'm sorry if I have to rehash it, but of course, if someone's new to the channel and they've never heard this, gotta let them know what they're in for. Right? But, for all of you that have, I apologize that I keep saying it. Yeah, I don't like seeing it on there. I get why some people do. They like people being able to see the premium nature of their product, maybe. Thinking back to, what was that, a number of years ago now. That, Louis Vuitton, maybe? The handbag that they came out where it was their logo, but it was just splattered all over the dang thing. It's like, okay, I get it. Or an Air Jordan, high expensive Nike, you have the logo on there. You want people to see that, maybe that's your jam? Okay, sure. I like something just a little bit more sleek, something that sort of speaks for itself without announcing itself. That the quality and the fit and finish and execution are what tells you it's premium. Or just well done. And has that sort of sophistication to just be stripped down. That's more my style. But, oh, I hit the camera. It exists in all forms and to suit all tastes, I'm sure. Where was I? Lock bar. Lock bar is very good here. Doesn't look like it has a ton of access, but you can get this basically from the side. Or just about. I mean, the actual edge you interface with does sort of cant you a little bit, but, I mean, not at all. I mean, it really doesn't look like it should, especially because it's not that thick. And, I mean, the angles and the material you're interfacing with is kind of reasonably thick for the titanium. But, yeah, it just works. It just works. It's a good shape and design for the lock bar. No problems or questions whatsoever there. Very happy with that. I already said the bearings are good, and they definitely are. Backspacer. Lock bar insert with over travel stop, yes. Another interesting thing is this clip. This clip doesn't seem like it would work as well as it does, mostly because it comes down to such a thin edge here. You think you'd feel a lot. This clip is fantastic. This may be one of my favorite parts of the knife, other than the texture, honestly. It's almost deep carry, which is kind of crazy. It's not, maybe if you have super thick pants, you're not going to get it all the way in, but that's pretty good for a titanium milled pocket clip. It is flat. It has just the perfect chamfers where nothing is sharp. Even the pointy part is like softened down a little bit extra. So often do you get titanium milled pocket clips where it's like, why didn't they just do this a little bit differently? This is fantastic. It is super comfortable, almost disappearing in the hand, which is, again, impressive. And they even put a flat spot underneath the clip. There you go. There you can see it. to keep it off the texture, which I don't even think would bother it that much, but they went there and did it anyway, so good on them. It is not reversible. I am sorry, left-handed people, though frame locks aren't exactly super conducive to left-handed carry. They did do a left-handed carry on the Stasis, because it's a crossbar lock, and I think the Privateer with the top line lock probably will have the left-handed carry option, but this one didn't. However, hey, they're giving options that are going to be there too, so it is what it is. And again, I'm pretty sure these are sold out for at least for now. I don't know if they're going to be coming back. I talked about one other difference between them, and that is this one has a little bit of a grind oopsie. As you can kind of see, it is not exactly centered. And if you actually look here, I pointed this out in the review, that's where the swedge stops on this one, right? Hey. Stupid stonewash. Slipping up it. As you can see, from side to side, it seems like they may have either clamped this thing at a slightly wronger angle when they were doing it in the machine or something. Who knows? Things can happen. Penrose was more than happy enough to send me a replacement and just said, you just keep the screwy one. Which is great because they sent me a flipper tab, so I get to experience both of them. Or a flipper tab version, which has been most helpful, and Penrose has been most pleasant to interact with as well. I believe they're out of Europe. Sweden? Forgive me if I've gotten that wrong. I can't recollect off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure. I don't have their box or anything. It's got a seal on it. And this kind of looks like a seal. Well, that might be the logo for the Otarida. But either way, I can kind of see it in there. I don't know why. I do. I get it. Good knife. There's not really anything wrong with it. It was $250 originally. A lot of them sold for like around $200. There was like a discount. Even at $250 for an OEM project that's executed well, like this, in titanium and M390, knowing that adds some cost just alone, the fact that there's an extra player in there, it kind of feels appropriately priced. It feels really, really good. Yeah, I just don't have anything to complain about there. I will say there's one thing that I've noticed. It's not a bad, but this little indent, instead of carrying out the blade or the handle and just sort of curving it around, they went this way. I will say that occasionally when I'm moving around on it, I feel well, at least primarily this one spot occasionally in my hand, like it's hitting right there. It's not sharp or uncomfortable, but it does have, of course, I mean, just the shape of it, it comes to more of a point than anything else around it. So I feel it. It's not bad. Just something to note, I guess. I pointed out it's pretty innocuous, honestly. But hey, I'm here to get to the nitty gritty, so that's what I'm doing. Great edge. It's held up pretty well. In fact, this one's been used a decent bit. It's still got a good bit of bite. This one's been used a little bit more. I think the bite it's still there, but it's not quite as aggressive as it was, so it's lost a tiny bit of the aggression, but the edge is still quite good. They've held up, and again, something about this texture and just the way the detent and everything feels has made me want to carry this knife. So it's certainly doing its job. It's a good knife. Especially if you're looking for something that's not particularly large. I know this is a very stacked field, but the Otarida is a good one. It's a great first design. I look forward to what's coming from them. I'm going to be checking them out. And I think that's it for me. That's the update on the summary. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you later. Hopefully.